Hey guys, it's Morgan, aka Morgizzle, and I'm with Renato, the one and only Renato, aka Spud Cuts, and we have a special guest today, Demi Cortez.
What's going on? What's going on?
A very renowned esthetician here in Atlanta. Yes. He know what he doing. He know what he doing. And welcome to Gather Around ATL. All right, hand claps. Good. So thank you for coming on today. We really do appreciate you. Look at him, flawless. He got flawless skin, flawless teeth.
Look like me.
Yeah, look at We're getting a lot older. I'm trying to keep it together.
Yes.
We pushing 40.
Yes. Oh, we.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Aren't you right behind me?
I'm behind.
All them out.
So what's your secret?
Corrective skincare.
Okay.
And now just, diet, honestly. Like, as I've gotten older, I really had to fine-tune my diet.
Yeah.
As we've discussed.
Yes, plenty of times. And I'm trying.
But it's a process.
Yes.
But no, just fine-tuning my diet and just using the products and services and everything that works for my skin.
Mm-hmm. So how long were you into like wellness?
So the wellness situation is actually new to me. Like I'm tapping into that avenue now as I transition out of aesthetics. So it's kind of a new lane, but I've kind of like grown a funding of it within the last 2.5 years since this whole transition I've been on has been going on. So it's an interesting process, but it's interesting and it's thought provoking, but it's a better way of living for the most part. And it's kind of like the way that I'm on right now. Like just as far as just fine tuning my diet, my lifestyle, things I'm into, just the whole situation. It's just a better way of life for me for right now.
And unfortunately, I just heard you say that you're transitioning. We're going to get to that.
Yeah.
But first, I want the audience to get to know you just a little bit more before we just kind of get into the nitty gritty. So where are you from?
I'm actually from this side of town, like right here.
Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta.
I was going to say, this street?
I'm from the next street over. Next street over, actually. Like, this is literally like when it was Simpson. This is Joseph E. Boone now. But when it was Simpson,
so
that was like...
Doug?
I went to Doug, yeah.
Yeah.
06.
See,
You from Atlanta?
06.
You graduated 06?
Yeah.
Oh, I played... see, now I'm about to get off topic because I know some people who graduated from Doug in 06. My roommate in college was Nick Wiggins. I know you probably know him. Big guy, Nick Wiggins.
I probably know him if I see his face.
He played football. We played football at Stillman. Another guy, Waller. And what did we call this?
I'm bad with names. And
Kevin Long.
But the faces I'm good with.
Yeah,
if I see the face.
We all play football at Stillman together.
Okay. Yeah, dope. Yeah, these are my stomach grounds. Like I grew up over here between here and Martin Luther King. Like this is kind of like where I'm from.
Yes.
This is like the Wild West over here, man.
It is.
Driving down, driving down the street.
It's a culture shock because you can see a lot of everything within
I'm from Birmingham, Alabama.
Within a 5-mile radius.
Right.
Like you can, it's a little different from Birmingham. I'm sure it was a culture shock for you coming up here.
Yeah. Well, because I used to live in the project, so.
Okay, well, yeah, you used to that. Okay, yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It ain't like it's crazy. Like just on the street, it's just crazy.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
Which way you come?
I live in Cobb.
No, which way? I'm talking about which way do you come up when you come out?
I experience everything.
Because it's crazy.
Yeah, it really depends on where I'm coming from work.
Which way you coming from, yeah.
Usually where this Family Dollar is right here on this side. But sometimes it spits me on the opposite side and it's a little bit unwelcoming, but Remy actually jokes around a lot where she likes to kind of go to a little bit some spots around here. And I'm like, we need to get in the car, get out. And just focus.
Don't be scared.
No, when you try to go get some ice from the gas, I was like, man, if you don't come here.
Listen.
He had on that Luigi outfit over here.
Listen.
You don't want
I got a lot of compliments in the outfit, actually.
I saw it. It was cute. You looked real cute.
Thank you. It was like Luigi. I was like, what's up?
I was Mario, so you was nothing without me.
Oh, so y'all was a pair.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
and
dope.
then she was
Princess Peach.
Remy usually sits here. Yeah. Without she didn't wear a crown that day either. That'd have been dope, but she would have the crown.
That was cute.
Yes.
It didn't fit. That's something.
Right. So are you from Atlanta or you just was
born and raised? This is my stomach.
Yeah.
Right? Literally
born. So he not. You know how you have to like ask people like, "But are you from Atlanta?"
Yeah.
When you said
Simpson literally.
Road,
you knew where was going.
Atlanta.
Simpson Road. Yeah. You
old Atlanta.
Benny Game Marco.
Oh, did I who?
You know Benny Game Marco? I heard him. Used to sing.
Marco?
Bandit Game Marco. What's that song? He got that song.
Let's hear it.
Well, you know what?
Nasty, because his attitude.
No.
What's his name? Bandit who?
Bandit Game Marco.
He from Atlanta?
Yeah, he from Simpson Road.
The old Atlanta songs that I know of is when
from the old, like the Atlanta bass and Kilo and all of them.
Very pop. Like a lot of people know him from Atlanta.
I probably got to hit a song. Yeah,
me too.
It's called Nasty.
Oh, baby,
from what year?
A lot of nasty songs.
That's my song.
It's only your song. But what year was it?
If you heard it, if y'all heard it, y'all
heard it.
Mm-hmm. The old Atlanta I know is when DJ Southern Bread used to kind of kill Atlanta, and his parties was like the hottest thing. What? Yeah, DJ Southern Bread. Listen,
there was a time.
And then from here too, but not from here. But
I'm from New York, but I came down here during the peak of everything.
Yeah, in high school, so you probably partied and stuff down here.
Yeah, I did.
When you was young,
did a little something, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. I was right in these streets.
Oh well.
Did you go once you graduated? Did you go to college out here?
So I started the college situation. I started at Atlanta. Was it Atlanta Tech? Yeah.
Atlanta Tech, yeah.
But yeah, that's when I slowly realized I was like, yeah, I don't think the whole college situation. I mean, I wasn't with the whole, just wasting a whole bunch of money, just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I went straight into the retail field. Right. I went straight into retail, and then that's when I transitioned into aesthetics after that, once I got to that training.
So I was watching your YouTube and I seen you say something about
the one I got. Yeah.
But you didn't say you don't want to say the name of the, because you said a lot of people know the store.
The store I worked at?
Yeah.
H&M, yeah.
H&M?
I thought it was like I thought you worked at like a high-end like store or something.
I never did. I wanted to transition into high-end, but I'm like, yeah, that ain't my lane.
Which A&M did you work? I mean,
all of them.
H&M.
Literally, pretty much all of them in Atlanta.
Man, I used to have this. I used to know someone who worked there, and I used to get them discounts.
We are the little discount cards we used to have back in the day.
That say the family thing on. Oh man, yeah.
There was
what discounts? Because
there was a time.
Yeah,
I used to get a lot. Off record, we used to get a lot of money for them discount cards.
Man,
wait, time out. What? I don't want to get you in trouble.
I'm gone now.
I used to work at Kroger. The only discount we used to get is Kroger. Well, black people say Kroger's. So basically, you get 10%. Okay. But don't ask me to use my Plus card. Okay.
You still get it?
No. You know what? It actually stopped like years later. I was in the Navy and still getting my discount from Kroger.
I didn't know they had a discount program at 10%.
Kroger. Yeah, they took forever to cut it off. I'm like,
you only get it if you work there.
Yeah, and technically,
I got the
it's your family
card.
Yeah, the little card where we get the instant rebate type situation.
Right. However, but if you're an employee, you have a
actual discount situation.
Discount attached to your phone number. So essentially, you can give it to anybody and just say, "Hey, you can use my discount."
Oh, I'm asking people now.
Never knew that.
Right? Okay. Look, you don't want no discount from Kroger.
As high as food is.
Pay that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do Kroger like that too heavy, but yeah.
Me neither. It's never. Never mind. I ain't gonna do it. I like Trader Joe's. Okay, so you're originally from Atlanta, born and raised, Southern.
You almost don't want to say Atlanta when you're from Simpson Road. You say Simpson Road, they know.
He's proud of it.
You know what I'm saying? Because you remember the girl came out with the song.
Which one? No, but go ahead. No one's gonna remember.
You know the song when she said, "You're not from Atlanta."
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, somebody from Simpson Road would probably won't even say Atlanta. They would say, "I'm from Simpson Road."
Yeah, it's
a given.
Different. Yeah,
it's a given. Like,
but yeah, when you go into South, Atlanta and Decatur and certain areas, it's.
So the SWATs is not considered.
The SWATs is still Atlanta. To me, everybody had their own perspective, but to me, the SWATs, Martin Luther King, Camp Creek, like all of that, still like the Atlanta area.
I didn't know that was the SWATs.
Yeah,
I guess that is.
All right, we'll be talking about this for all day. All right. Okay, so from Atlanta, born and raised, went to school here. And walk me through your journey. I was looking at your Instagram, YouTube, all that. And I'm like, wow, this brother is interesting. You have many layers to you. And looking at you, you really couldn't tell them. You know what I mean? That's a blessing. It's a blessing that you don't look like what you've been through. So tell us a little bit more about your journey and how you got to where you are today.
I'm stepping into the whole unveiling of the layers now as I transition into this new season, because I was a very, I ain't gonna say closed off, but I was just very private, with my life and everything that was going on. But as as I've transitioned into this whole healing and, wellness aspect, so many other people are going through the same thing that I'm going through, that I'm experiencing right now. So it just made me want to open up more and just start talking more and just, just actually share my experiences just to see if it could possibly help someone else. It's the whole transition that I'm, making with the new direction that I'm going into.
Yeah.
But, from Atlanta, grew up, in the city, with goals of you wanted to do X, Y, and Z, but I was kind of lost for the whole younger part of my life. I would say my whole 20s, honestly, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And then I found, the whole aesthetics industry because I had very problematic skin. So that was kind of like my introduction into aesthetics. I was like, okay, I can't be gay and have bad skin. Something gotta balance out. So I had to figure out, something to balance it out. So I found aesthetics, kind of like fell in love with the industry. And then actually back then, this was, like 12 years ago, it wasn't as welcoming for, black men, especially with the tattoos and my whole presentation, it wasn't as welcoming. So, I went into a, retail management and kind of like stayed there until I had my first shift or pivot, I would say, which is when God was like, okay, it's time to get in alignment. And, he swept me out of there. And then I, started the whole aesthetics career for the most part. And that's where I've been the last 6 years, just, balancing that out and growing that brand and the business and just evolving as a person for the most part into who I've become right now.
And who that might be.
This is this person right here, and I'm going to be totally transparent because I'm actually still getting to know this version of myself, which is so interesting, scary, and all of the things. Because it's like, who the hell am I? Like, what is going on? Like, I'm not, certain movements, you don't move the same way, you don't think the same way. Because, as you evolve, a lot of things evolve, everything around you evolves too. So I'm really getting familiar with this new version of myself and just really loving this version of myself and just really owning it, you know what I'm saying? And just really just getting my voice. So like I said, I was a very private person. I wasn't one to just talk about, my life experiences, nothing. Like I was just, all right, let me post my little picture and go about my business. That was kind of like the theme, but the whole aesthetics industry kind of also opened me up a little bit, because I had to talk, I was not a people person.
Right.
Like
really?
You can't sit there and just be quiet. And
I was not up. Well, granted, so with some, and I tell this to even like some of my mentees I used to have, you can gauge the room. When you're dealing with certain clients in a treatment room, some people don't want to have a full conversation throughout the treatment. You know what I'm saying? You have some clients who do it, and you have some who just want to come in, relax, because it's kind of like their rest and, relaxing time. So they don't want to have a whole full conversation, but you can kind of like gauge it and see. But I was not a people person. But they opened me up into interacting with people and understanding people and learning people. And it's kind of like the shift that's shifted me into this new direction that I'm going into.
Okay. And I took a couple naps too. So he's actually telling the truth.
I was going to say, like, it's something like that, like massages and like facials and stuff like that. Like, I would probably not want to talk the whole time.
No, I hate that part.
They can be
I don't want to go to sleep during the massage because I want to feel
but you be so relaxed. Like like when I get my haircuts, I'm zoned out. Like I would be in dead sleep because it's a therapeutic. To me, it's a therapeutic. You got I got the clippers going, I got the sound going, I tune out everything else, and then my barber's just shifting my head. So I'm in like such a zen space that I would be dozing off like throughout the whole cut. Like honestly, it's a very therapeutic spot, for some people. So that's why, some talk, some don't. But it just depends. It varies.
Okay. So you started this journey when you were in your 20s, but you really in your 30s, right?
Really in my 30s, years. Yeah.
Okay. And because you only look 12.
I'll take
21. Let's do that.
I'll take
and so what made you want to transition out of where you are today into a new career, and what career might this be?
It was time.
How did you know?
I had so many. This has been what is this, November? I knew top of the year. However, as people, we get accustomed to certain situations and certain routines, and we get comfortable. So I was comfortable. I'm successful. I'm affording the life that I want. I'm making a certain amount of money. I'm able to take care of myself, live the way I want to. So you get comfortable. But when you really, I had a whole spiritual awakening within the last 2 years, and it's just opened my eyes into what I really want to do and what my soul purpose is, and what my my whole goal of being in this existence in this life is. So I've kind of like geared toward that direction. And I served my purpose in the aesthetics lane. I did what I wanted to do. As far as what I wanted to accomplish, everything that little me wanted, because this was a dream as a child to have this skincare line and have this spa and just do. This was my childhood dream. So now that I'm 36, that dream has opened me up to a whole different avenue. So now I've accomplished that. So now it's time to tap into a whole new arena. But I had many signs and I ran from it. I ran from it all year.
Okay. Wait.
I ran from it.
And why did
transitioning.
you? Oh, sorry about that.
Go ahead.
So why did you? How did you know? What specifically? How did you know specifically?
It was intuition was a big part of it. Like intuition was a very big part of it. I'm a very intuitive person. Like I kind of know what's going on, but a lot of times I push that feeling to the back of my mind because it's kind of like, okay, you got to face reality. This is what's really going on right now. Like it's time for you to pivot again. And you're like, damn, I just pivoted like 6 years ago. I got to do it again. Yeah, because it's hard.
Yeah,
it's starting completely over. Like it's hard. So I was getting the synchronicity. I was getting all the signs, but like I say, I was running from it. I just transitioned from my salon suite to a whole nother space that I was getting ready to start building out and doing all of these things. And luckily I didn't invest too much money because it's time to shift. But God just, we had a lot of conversations, a lot of dark times, just really figuring out what I wanted to do and what my purpose was. And, he was just giving me the signs. I just had to really sit with myself and just listen and pay attention and just say, okay, this is time. Don't be scared. Because, we do things because, we don't want to be uncomfortable. We don't like to be, out of our comfort zone. But you got to grow. In order to grow and evolve, you got to get uncomfortable. You got to do it scared. You got to step outside of yourself to really become, the next or what you really want to be or what you really want to do. So, I was getting the signs. I finally had that awakening moment to be like, okay, now it's time. And I've accepted the decision.
I was gonna say, because I'm a barber and like sometimes I get burnt out.
You get burnt out too.
Yeah,
you know how it is.
So that's what I was like, well, maybe,
How long you been cutting?
Out. Since I was 14 and I'm 36. So, but like in a shop professionally in Georgia since 2015.
Yeah.
So like you said, doing the same thing over and over and over.
It becomes
again,
repetitive. It becomes
you just
repetitive.
Want something different and you get burnt out, But
and
I
then
ended
that
up
too.
Moving to a different barbershop. Yeah. So I was thinking like with you, because it's like with me because I had a suite and I was just by myself.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in a barbershop with multiple people, it kind of
balance you out a little bit.
Yeah, I get to talk to everybody. We debate. We do this. We do that. So I was thinking, like with estheticians,
you still have a love for it though, for cutting hair.
So yes, it when I have a good client, yes.
Okay.
But then it's like when you get those clients that just irk your nerves, it just makes you
question your whole existence in this
kind of
enhance.
It kind of enhances. Like this one of my best clients because he come in and he only get this and he tills really good. And I will say that you keep on, bro. But like you get those clients, man, and it kind of
it's challenging.
Enhances the burnout. It makes you think like, well, I can't wait to stop.
That was also a extra layer on the top.
How's that work with? Like, so for example, like you can mess up a haircut. Can you mess up somebody's?
Yeah, I do corrective skincare, so you can burn somebody's face off with a chemical peel. Like you can really do some serious damage. That's why it's so much behind the scenes as far as like insurance and liability. Like you got to have all that stuff in place because someone can say, "Oh yeah, he burnt my face off," and X, Y, and Z, and can take you to court and try and take everything from you. It's happened. You know what I'm saying? But
do y'all have like as estheticians, like because I'm pretty sure you went to school for this, right?
Yeah.
Do they show y'all pictures of like someone who actually had that done? Because I'm pretty sure you haven't never burnt nobody's face.
As far as like, you can look on social media. It's every day. It's
so
another.
You can tell like
another
when you
visual.
see somebody like, oh yeah,
you can when you like really invested in skin and you kind of like know what to look for, you can see certain things. Okay, you probably had a chemical peel or a couple years, probably a couple months ago. You know what I'm saying? And your skin is still balancing out. However, you didn't get the results that you wanted at that particular point. So now you're trying to get maybe another aggressive treatment done. But with skin of color particularly, you can't just be that aggressive with certain treatments because it's gonna have an adverse effect and you can do more damage than what you were initially trying to correct. So you can once you know. It takes a good eye. It takes a lot of studying and just really knowing what to look for when it comes to skin to know. Because I've had clients, okay, I want this type of peel. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that on you. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah. First of all, your skin is not even in the state for that.
Have you ever had somebody try to come to you to make them kind of lighter? Is that a thing with estheticians?
So the whole lighter thing, I don't.
Because you know Charlemagne the God, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm not.
Well, what's going on with Charlemagne? This is my boy. This is my cancer brother. Yeah.
So, old Charlemagne versus now
Charlemagne got some treatments done. He's definitely had some chemical peels done. He probably had a good hydroquinone bleaching cream or something, a lightening cream. I don't like to say bleaching or a lightening cream because it helps to lighten up your complexion or improve impurities that's going on with your skin.
But it's not to make him. It's not to make him like he want to be light skin. It helps.
You got to think about we're. But everybody at this table is black. So when we go out in the sun, when we ride in the cars, our skin naturally produces excess of pigment. It naturally produces pigment. So if you aren't exfoliating on a regular, if you aren't using sunscreen, your skin can start to look blotchy. It can start to look uneven. And then that's when you start to get, those lightening and brightening treatments to balance your skin back out to where it looked before you had all that sun damage from. A lot of people just have a lot of sun damage and just don't understand it or know what it looks like until you started having chemical peels and things like that and you get back to your natural state. But most of us are like 3 different tones. I'm like 2 different tones on my arm, my face and my neck. Like we're not one particular color. You know what I'm saying? So
could that be fixed?
Not as far as like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's in our DNA. You know what I'm saying? Okay, as far as like even if you look at yourself in the mirror, like you're not just one tone.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a little more complex than that, but it can definitely get a little tricky when it comes to, knowing what to look for. And you know what I'm saying, when it comes to services and stuff like that. But you gotta have a good eye and just know skin. Like that's the biggest thing, just knowing skin.
So before we get into what you're gonna do next, what are some of the biggest lessons that you learned in the esthetician field by itself?
Patience.
Yeah.
Patience. That was one of probably the biggest life lessons, career lessons, just all the way around, just having patience with people. Because we can, as service providers, we can want things for people and they could want it for themselves, but they, they're not able to commit, I would say, into, doing the things necessary, making the necessary life changes or, changing the diet or whatever the case may be to get their, say, for example, get their skin where they want it. You know what I'm saying? Especially from like my acne clients. My acne clients, they already know it's a certain regimen that you need to kind of like stay on. It's certain foods you need to avoid. I was just gonna
say dealing with food.
It's certain.
Yes, I can't have chocolate, milk, cheese. I don't think cheese
because it's bad for you. Like
I will break.
It needs a lot of information.
Yes,
everything we eat. You got to think about it. Like back in the day, like our parents, our ancestors, they weren't dealing with the issues that we deal with now when it comes to skin, lifestyle, all this cancer, all these other ailments. Because everything was more pure, it was more natural. But nowadays, everything is so filled with all these preservatives and all these additives and everything else, these hormones and stuff. Once we ingest those in our body don't know how to react to it. That's where the inflammation comes from. Therefore, all the other triggers and everything comes out in our skin. Literally, everything comes out. So whatever you put in, it's going to come out. Depending on, you know what I'm saying, what the situation is. So you got to know certain triggers that can work for your body and what you kind of got to stay away from.
Right, that's what I was going to ask. Like, so how would somebody know? Like, how did you know?
Esthetician? That's what corrective skincare estheticians, we do the excess, you know what I'm saying, the extra advanced classes to know and research to know what the triggers are.
So
and then once you
like look at him until he couldn't.
Once we had a consult and he dealt, because his skin is pretty much like mine is. He has oily skin like I do. So with oily skin, there's certain triggers that we kind of like gotta watch out for. It's certain treatments that we need to that are very effective for our skin. So you just kind of like know in that realm of things. But as I study different skin types, you kind of like know what to do for certain individuals, and then you just tailor that down to the specific person that you're dealing with. So I know him, he likes sweets. So, okay, once a week, you can have your little cheat day, but you need to balance that out. You know what I'm saying?
So you said once a week?
Once a week. I'm not with the whole eliminating everything.
You about to tell already.
But you got to balance it out. You can't be eating sweets every day. Have your little cheat day. And, the other days you grinding, meal prepping, getting your fruits, your vegetables, your vitamins, whatever you say, you know what I'm saying? Get the rest of it in so you can, everything will be balanced. Everything in life is about balance, literally.
In my defense, I was raised a little bit differently. So I was literally part of the reason why I love sweets, and number one, I have a sweet tooth, but I was raised by just eating good.
It's a comfort food.
Right. And then topping off with a dessert. Like
It's
you have one
comfort.
serving of
Right.
food, you have it one dessert a day, and then you're pretty much okay.
Right.
If you diet or if you do exercise, I don't really have to diet, but as I got older, my body did start to react a little bit differently, especially once I hit 30. Like I can't have too much sweets, alcohol. I have to monitor my alcohol intake. When I have drinks in general, because the next day I'm done.
Yeah, it's every 30 hit me hard. That's what really shifted everything. Cause I'm like, yo, where's all this extra weight coming from? And it's going to the wrong places. So now I gotta work out on top of trying to eat right. So it's like a whole situation. But yeah, it happens.
Yeah. Are you gonna like tie the wellness and esthetician in together and like kind of make it like one kind of thing?
Yeah, what are you gonna do next?
So
thanks, Renato.
I'm stepping away from the treatment room. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna always be an esthetician. It'll always be a part of me. You know, I'm just not doing hand-on services anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I can step outside of the treatment room and really just focus on other avenues. So I'm actually transitioning into life coaching and wellness coaching, and I'm taking a gear toward hypnotherapy as well too. So I want to combine all of those.
Like hypnotizing about?
Yeah. Have you ever had hypnotherapy? Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard of it, but I don't know what that is, to be honest. Because the only time I've seen that is on TV when people have that thing
like that.
It's the subconscious. It's tapping into your subconscious mind to really just gear yourself toward whatever you're trying to do or whatever your goal is. A lot of people deal with a lot of trauma. That was one of my issues. I dealt with a lot of trauma from growing up and stuff like that. And I didn't know how to address it, so I had to tap into my subconscious mind to really start to heal myself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of healing can happen in our subconscious mind, but that's what everything is. That's what a hurt. That's what the damage. That's what all the pain is. But we put that to the back burner because we don't want to deal with it on a daily basis. So we're going to self-medicate. We're going to do all the things. We're going to work. We're going to do everything else to put what we're trying to avoid off. But once you start tapping into that avenue, you open up a whole new, you know what I'm saying, level of healing that we all essentially need to go on and go through to elevate to our higher beings and, who we really want to be and how we really want to present ourselves. So once you tap into that mindset, like it's eye-opening. So I had a session done and it was like completely eye-opening. And
so you
I had a session done and it was very eye-opening because with hypnosis, you go in hypnotic states every day of the week. When you just driving in a car and you at the red light and you just gear off and just thinking about something, that's a hypnotic state. That's a state. So we do it on a regular basis. We just don't. And when you're in those states, you're thinking about something. Whether it's like, yo, I should have did that. I should have probably did this or you know what I'm saying? You're in that moment, but you just don't stay in it long enough to actually start the healing process or trying to correct whatever you're trying to correct. So that's the purpose of why I'm combining that with the life coaching to kind of like help people deal with their trauma, whatever pain they're dealing with, and then help them evolve into whatever area they're trying to evolve into in their lives for the most part. Because I did the work on myself. So now I'm at the point where, I'm ready to, kind of like, as I, go through my training process and stuff like that, I'm ready to start helping people, because a lot of it is just life lessons that I've gone through and just talking to people throughout the last year of, being in, I'm saying in my treatment room. So many people are going through the same thing. I heard the same story over and over. Like we all are going through the same thing, dealing with the same issues. Yeah. And I'm like,
I tell people that too.
Yeah.
Like I'm a barber. Like I said, I'm a barber.
Yeah, and
we talk
too.
to so many people and you'll be surprised like how everybody's going through the same stuff.
Yeah.
Even celebrities. I learned, and I'm not gonna say no names, but I learned dealing with celebrities, I learned that dealing with celebrities, a lot of them really don't even have money. How we think they do.
Okay,
that's a whole nother layer.
Yes, but it's just a job. You know what I mean?
You're right.
It's number one. It's a celebrity. That's really what it is. I just go push in front of you, especially in the media, a little bit more. But they have bills,
lifestyles, everything. Yeah,
I bumped into several. I ain't gonna do it.
Don't do it.
But I'm just saying, like with now with the wellness and life coaching and hypnosis, is this gonna be like a certification that you got to do? Somebody's going to teach you.
So as far as life coaching, like you actually in the it's not a regulated industry to where you need a coaching license or you need a license. However, because I I just like to cover all of my bases. I'm going through a training process for that. You know, they do have training programs, but it's not regulated like, you know, a therapist or, you know, something in that aspect. It's not regulated like that. However, there are trainings that you can take, you know, to give you better training and better tools to help people and assist people the way you want to. So I'm going through the training process, but it's not necessary, not in the state of Georgia anyway.
Okay. So can we dig a little bit deeper?
Yeah, let's go.
So I keep hearing you reference the things that you went through in your 20s. What specifically, just give me like one or two things that you went through that can potentially help somebody else, and how did you get out of it?
I would probably say probably the most traumatic thing that I went through in my 20s was probably the suicide attempts. Both of them, because they both were in my 20s.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I didn't know if I was gonna be able to.
Oh yeah, it's over there. That's why I put it on the first YouTube video, because it helped me transition. But what really honestly made me more comfortable speaking about it, one of my clients, this was years ago, one of my clients, a younger gay boy, he came in and he was dealing with the same issues that I was initially dealing with back in the day with my skin. And he was like, yo, I just hate my skin. And I just like, sometimes I just really just want to kill myself because I hate my skin.
Really?
And I resonated with him so much in that moment. And the fact that he was younger, like this was years ago. So I think he was like in his like mid-20s, early 20s, somewhere around there. And the fact that he was able to just, you know, just confide that in me, I'm like, okay, wow. Like these kids nowadays, they're so open and expressive. Because I dealt with my stuff, you know, solo, you know, when it came to that point. But it was a purpose of me not knowing my existence, not knowing why I was here, and then just dealing with life in general at that particular point in time. And, you know, just not having the idea of a self for the most part.
You know what's so funny? You're touching on a lot, number one. And thank you for being open.
Yeah, no problem.
And the reason why I say that is because not just as a young Black man, but specifically as a young Black gay man or same-sex attraction, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the proper term will be. It can be challenging. It can be challenging trying to identify who you are. It could be challenging because I'm not sure what your personal experience will be, but especially when you are in your coming out story, who's accepting you, who's not accepting you, and where can you find that acceptance? You know what I mean?
It was surprisingly, I had a very supportive. I didn't even actually have a chance to come out because I was planning on telling my mother.
But she already knew.
And my the parents always know. Yeah. But I was planning on, but she didn't know. No, I was planning on telling my mother the year I was going to graduate in 2006. This was my 12th grade year. However, you know, I was being a little fast, and you know, I had someone in the house. And she walked in on me, and it was that type of moment. We weren't doing the act. We weren't doing the act. We were getting ready to involve in some things, but she walked in right before, and that's actually how she found out. And you know, once she found out, she called my father, and you know, called my sister and my brother, and you know, told all of them. And that's how, you know, my whole situation came out. And you know, they had the conversation. My father came up, and he was like, you know, you still my son. I love you. And, you know, that's what it is. You just always be my son. Brother and sister said the same thing. And, you know, that's how it was in the family. In the school, it was a little different because the school, I didn't get a chance to kind of like tell because I was maybe like 15 or 16 when I started going to the gay clubs in Atlanta, sneaking in rather with
Which
my fake
ones?
ID.
At 15?
Yeah, I looked a little older though. And, you know, I had my little fake ID. Back then it was just 7 or 8 for the most part.
Time out. Because that's the same age that I'm not going to say no names either, but that's the same age that I used to go to the club. I got invited to the club, but it was chaperone. Yeah, no, I was a little too scared of 7 or 8. 7 or 8 was a little too ratchet for me. No shade. But
no,
then,
we had a time.
Right.
Yeah, it was a different situation.
So the lighter version of that was
it an older club?
No, it wasn't older. It was just a little more ratchet. Yeah.
Chaparral, which was a little bit older, and Atlanta Live.
Oh, yeah. See, that was later on.
No, they didn't even check my ID. I knew the doorman.
Yeah. That was later on.
But I used to be 16, 17 years old. I got invited by...
I forget, you're younger than me. Yeah. Yeah. So that was around... Yeah.
Very much younger than me. Yeah. And, I mean, they didn't check my ID at the bar or anything. They closed down, so I can say that now. But
back then they didn't. Yeah, so it wasn't.
and then
yeah.
the clubs open. I mean, used to open till like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, they used to open at 4
Then
o'clock.
I used to have to go to school in the morning.
I used to
Right.
go to school.
Sneak back in the house before my mama woke up.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get there?
It was a
They ain't have
time.
Uber and stuff like that.
I used to steal my mom's
Now you
car.
my business.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, it was a time.
So
Yeah.
what I'm asking is, how old were you supposed to actually be to get in
18. Most clubs were
18?
18. Yeah, but I mean, we back then we looked at the kids nowadays look older.
Yeah.
But back then, we wore the big clothes back then, the 6X t-shirts and the 6X. So we looked at a little older than we were. So it was and if you knew the bounce at the door, it wasn't really nothing to, what I'm saying, for your people to help you slide in. Like it wasn't that big an issue.
So in your 20s, I know that you went through a slight stage of depression.
Child, the 20s and the 30s.
So my question is, what did you do then to get out of it? And what do you do to get out of it?
So back then, it was all about masking the issues. Back then, it was the clubbing, it was the drinking, it was the sex, it was it was all of the things back in the day. Now that I'm older, it's a different. I'm dealing with it differently because of my mindset has shifted within the last 3 years. Within the last 4 to 5 years, I would actually say that's when the shift started to happen. But yeah, I'm just once I got in those places. I would I had to really just sit with myself. And then I started going to therapy like in my late 20s. So that started to help really process my thoughts and really just process what I was going through. And then, like I said, just being honest and transparent with myself and just, having conversations with God on why I'm feeling this way or why I'm going through these things. Like, I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
But, just a lot of self-help books. I started reading a lot more. And just sitting, with myself in silence a lot, meditation, wellness type situations, massages, just different outlets, healthier outlets outside of just the coping it with the drugs and the alcohol and all the other things and the sex and all the other things. Yeah.
Thank you again for being open.
Yeah.
Well, what most people don't know about depression is depression comes and goes.
It does.
You can be fine one day, you can be at your high one day, and you can literally turn around and boom. Hey, you can do it.
I've been doing it myself too.
Yeah. I think we all do at certain points.
Yeah.
It's just, what I'm saying? Like I said, it can hit you at any different point. But I think you learn how to deal with it differently and better as you get older and as you advance mentally. You know what I'm saying?
So one thing that I learned with depression is, and I could be wrong because I'm not an expert, but I feel like it was 2 types. Like for me, it wasn't something that made me depressed. Like you said,
it wasn't
like
a certain situation.
Young guy with his skin, or somebody may be depressed about money, or got cheated on, or something like that.
It wasn't.
Mine was literally just a chemical imbalance. I had ate too many edibles, and it threw my chemical imbalance off.
Okay.
And then I was taking testosterone boosters, not steroids. Testosterone boosters, and then it had my chemical imbalance off.
So you actually had to get like a diagnosis from a doctor?
I went to this doctor, but the medicine that they gave me, I don't know what I don't really can't remember what it was, but whatever it was, it was terrible. Like you said, like the massages, the therapy, I used to listen to
the hard work,
different sounds that you can just listen to, but for you to say like that you tried, to unalive yourself twice, I was thinking when I was going through, I was like, man, I can really understand, like, because it's so bad, because it's a pain that
you can't fix.
You just got to get through it.
You can't fix it, and you can't.
And like
it's
you said,
no outlet, and sometimes you can't talk. I mean, you have friends and stuff like that you can talk to, but certain people, they're, especially if you're like the strong friend or, you know what I'm saying, that type of friend, like it's just certain things that I'm just now learning to lean on my friends more in that aspect of life. Because like I said, I was always a very private person. So I dealt with a lot of my stuff alone, which now in hindsight, I see why I dealt with all of that stuff alone, because I was able to heal myself through a lot of those situations. So now I'm able to help other people. But, versus, talking to this person and trying to go and get this type of help, like I was able to just coach myself through. So I know that was also a part of this journey. But yeah, a lot of people don't know how to reach out. A lot of people don't know how to reach out. They don't know where outlets to reach out at. So it's a process, but depression definitely has stages, and you just you really have to just zone in and just look within a lot of times when you're dealing with those issues to really just see, okay, what is the root cause of why I'm feeling this way? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like what's the real issue? So once you get to that real issue, you can unpack it a little bit more.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you say, you figured out what your issue was. It was a combination of what you were eating and the
try it again.
Now you know what I'm saying? You sat with yourself once you had the medication, like, yeah, this is whack. So let me see, what exactly it is. You was able to, go through that and see what it was and get to the root.
And understanding your triggers. Understanding your triggers.
That came with age and patience, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, because I'd be like, okay, well, let me just drink. Yeah. And, I feel better. But that was actually one of my triggers, because I would drink and then I would mask the situation and then I would get back into it. It's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. It became a cycle. So now I don't drink nearly as much as I do. Like, I still have a drink here and there, but I'm more in control. I was the type to have a drink every night. You know what I'm saying? And, but I'm more in control now.
So understanding your triggers, and then also finding out how to handle it, because if you can acknowledge your triggers and you can still feel those emotions or whatever, but what do you do? What's the next step? But I guess that's where you're saying
that's where the life coaching come into play. That's when you can reach out to these other outlets. And one of the other reasons why I wanted to transition into that, because if you look up life coaching and you see a lot of life coaches, they don't look like me. Like, you're not going to see a lot that looks like myself, a black guy, tattoos that you can possibly feel like you can relate to, that's actually gone through some things, and not just, I wanted to fall into this because, my mother did it or whatever the case may be. No, you actually want to help people evolve, and you want to, have somebody, because when I was growing up, I didn't see nobody that I can relate to as far as a therapist, as a life coach. All my therapists were white. Like, just being totally transparent. Like, I've never had a black therapist. Now that I think about it, I mean, there are some out there, but especially nowadays, because we're branching out a lot more outside of just the doctors, the nurses, the average, the black jobs. You know what I'm saying? We're branching out from that, so we're tapping into a lot of other avenues to be more available to the people and to the community.
I love that, because there's so many people that you're helping by sharing your story.
Yeah.
Specifically young black men. And I feel like in addition to that, young black gay men can have a role model they can look up to. So hopefully some of this...
Don't throw the role model on me.
I mean, that's what it is. I mean, that's really what it is. Because I feel like... But role model doesn't mean you have to be perfect either. Right. You know what I mean? Not. Because we are all flawed.
Definitely.
But I can see the value in it. You know what I mean? Can you?
It's deeper. Yeah. And that's, like I say, I did the skin thing, but I got to a point last year and I was like, I'm ready for something more. Like, I want to, it's got to be something more outside of this. And I saw how many of our people were hurting and dealing with issues and didn't know where to turn, who to, what I'm saying, just had no idea. So I'm like, okay, I've done this. So now I want to tap into a whole nother avenue of, actually being a better assistance to, what I'm saying, our people. So that's, it's needed. It's like, it's needed.
Okay. Have you helped anybody yet?
So all of the facial sessions, they literally be therapy sessions. That's like, I feel like God set that up the way he needed to, because one, I needed to come out of my comfort zone. I needed to get comfortable with talking to people and interacting with people on that type of level, outside of just the surface level. You know what I'm saying? Outside of just those type of conversations. Because I would have clients that'll come to me, no appointments, no prior appointments, and just lay their whole life out. Just lay it down. I'm talking about crying tears. I'm trying to do the consultation. They just come in crying, you know what I'm saying? Just bawling in tears. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And it started to resonate with me at that particular point. And then I started to, after clients would be like, yo, you really just, outside of the facial, like, you really just helped me process
internally.
You know what I'm saying? What I'm going through. And I was like, oh shit, like this is something deeper than just the facial. Like, this is a whole nother layer that I guess I'm being called to do at this point in life. So I'm like, okay, now I need to step into this and really just, own this. And that's kind of like what happened. So we were healing each other. Like, and I tell all of my clients, especially within the last 2 years, because I've been going through it mentally and like just interacting with, my clients on that type of level. Like, we've been healing each other, you know what I'm saying, in that aspect. So I haven't officially started taking clients yet because I'm still in the training process.
Right.
But, you know, I'm still, like I said, you don't have to have a coaching license to start helping and talking to people. So once that starts to roll out, which everybody will know, trust, it'll start to, you know, I started talking about it a little bit more at that point.
Okay. So what would you say would be the most important thing or most important lesson that you learned in your life, just in general?
Cherish life is one of the biggest ones because it can be taken at the drop of a dime, honestly. And you really have to just cherish life and live in the moment. Like, stop trying to think about everything else that's going on and just really live in the moment right now. That's kind of like where I'm at right now. Like, everything else, the extra is cool, but I want peace and happiness in this season. That's it. Just peace and happiness. Like, the extra stuff, it can come. Yeah. But like, I'm just, and like I said, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or what, but like, I'm tired of surviving. Like, I want to live. I want to live freely. I want to be free. I don't want to be confined to no treatment room, to no office room. I just want to be free. Like, that's literally where I'm at right now. And so I would definitely say just cherishing life, and then just cherishing, you know, the people around you, your circle, because it's so hard to find solid people that you just resonate with, that you rock with, that got your back. So just cherishing life, your family, and then, you know, your core people. Everything else is going to fall into line.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So what would you say, how has failure shaped you just in general?
Probably my resilience, because like I say, being an entrepreneur is not, you know, too, like, you know, it's a constant grind. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a constant grind. But we learn so much about ourselves, about finances. Well, I hope we do, you know, financing, learning stuff that we were not taught in school, you know, that we had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way, you know, because we're not taught how to manage a certain amount of money when you get to certain commas and stuff like that. We're not taught that, you know what I'm saying? So the money comes in and it goes. Yes. It's like, okay, now it's going back out, but you have to learn structure. You have to learn structure. You have to learn budgets, financing. Like, certain things you have to start putting into place so you can withstand and, you know, make this money last and not just blowing it on stupid stuff.
And it may take a minute to actually get into that rhythm.
It will. It's gonna take time. That's what I'm saying. It took 6 years to build my career up the way I did, to the magnitude that I did. And now I'm at the point where I'm completely starting all over, but my mindset is different now. So I don't even care about the extra. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about the extra stuff or what I had to, because I completely reverted my whole life. I completely downsized as far as my living expenses, completely changed my lifestyle because I knew what was about to take place. So, you know, a little sacrifice for the next come up.
I love that. So I know that you said earlier that you started to read some books. I'm assuming listen to podcasts.
I'm getting into a lot of more podcasts now.
What kind of books that you feel that other people should read that you have read?
A lot of self-help books. I've been into a lot of self-help books right now. Right now, I'm actually reading this book that I got from one of the therapists that work in the space with me. What's the name of it? I can give you the name and you can list it. But it's full of exercises that help you be your authentic self. And that's what from what I'm also realizing, a lot of people, because I mean, honestly, we all have a mask that we present to the world on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. You have certain people you react with differently, and you know, that's just what it is. But in this particular book, it's just solely around being your authentic self in that, you know, in that essence of just owning who you are in that form and then presenting that version of yourself to the world so that people can really resonate with you on that level. You know what I'm saying? And just not just trying to put on a facade or be in a certain type of way to try and fit in, or, you know, try and, you know, get into certain groups. Like, it's more so about, especially in the lane that we're going right now, a lot of people and kind of like leaning toward the authenticity of, you know, the essence of people, because there's so much going on with the influencers and all the stuff and AI and everything else. People want authenticity. So that's what the people want. And so that's what I'm kind of like studying right now. Just zoning in on that a little bit more. So I'll give you the book today. I'll give you her name, because she's a I think a psychotherapist, one of the two. I can't think of her actual title, but I just met her walking to the mailbox and she was like, yeah, I'm in this space right here and I have this book, try it out. And it's been like super informative.
So how did you get into psychotherapy just specifically?
So I'm not into psychotherapy, hypnotherapy.
Okay, hypnotherapy.
So this was during my whole little awakening process. And I was having a conversation with God, and I was like, okay, so what is this next phase of my life going to look like? And then I just started getting all of these downloads, and then all of these ads started popping up. And then I just started seeing all of these. And once I moved into my next spot, I'm surrounded by therapists and hypnotherapists. And I'm like, so this is another download. This is another sign, just giving you, because God give us signs and downloads when we're listening, when we cut out the extra noise. And I was like, and I started researching it, and I was like, this is dope. I was like, and then I had my first session. I had a session, and I was like, okay, this is something that can really start to help people, because I've seen that it helped me. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to tap into that avenue of things. So that's kind of like how I fell into it. The same with the life coaching. Like I was just, directing how I saw my next life, my next phase of life for the most part. But I just gave up all control. I surrendered all of my control and just let God just give me the downloads. And once he started giving me the downloads, I started, planning and putting stuff together on what I saw it looking like. And I just, like I say, I gave up all my control. Yeah. Because it's, we have to surrender our goals for what God actually has planned for our life. And then once we do that, everything starts to align.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on the show. We truly appreciate you being open.
Congrats on your podcast. Congrats on, what you're doing. Yeah, and, the whole staff. I know we're missing one person, but like what y'all doing is dope. Like, and I love the authenticity that y'all are bringing to the podcast space and the different aspects, because you're a barber, you're a realtor. I don't know what my girl does, but I love the dialogue that y'all have going on.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
We're rooting for you. Congratulations on your new adventures.
Thank you.
You got this. I know that you can be successful. And I cannot wait to see what God has for you. So
love it.
Yes. So ATL committee, gather around, out.